Hello, everyone, once again. This is Rob, and welcome back to Media Awareness and another album review. This time of Have, Baby I'm the Wolf, the album. Before I get to this, though, a quick reminder the fundraiser continues. For those of you new to my channel or unaware, I am a disabled individual, and I use a motorized wheelchair slash scooter all day, every day for my independence, and I need your help. My insurance will not cover anything with regard to my wheelchair as they view it as a quote luxury item end quote. Despite the fact that I'm unable to walk whatsoever, as well as unable to utilize any other type of power chair or a standard wheelchair for that matter, only having limited use of one hand. Additionally, I do not have a backup scooter or wheelchair, so if this malfunctions, I am a fish out of water. With that being stated, there is a spot fund account linked below in two places. Directly below the title in this video description, where you would click more to see more, and below the actual description for the video itself, which is an album review, you will find below that another link for the spot fund as well. Any and all help is welcome. I do mean that sincerely. I am endeavoring to continue the ongoing refurbishing of my existing scooter, and that requires a tremendous amount of funds and parts that I have to obtain, and also pay the trained technicians to install these parts and make sure that they're operating at their optimum capacity. So, with all of that stated, please do what you can at the spot fund account. There was a really gracious donation that was received recently, and I do want to really thank you guys for reaching out and doing what you can when you can. I am still far from reaching the target goal, however, and with that stated, any and all help is welcome. And I do want to extend a gracious thanks to those who have contributed thus far, in addition to those who plan on contributing, as your contributions have and will make a world of difference in my life, and I can't stress that enough. I pride myself on my independence, and I thrive on my independence. And although I'm not completely independent in my everyday life, I do not want to be completely dependent either. So I want to maintain my current level of independence, and to do so, I need my scooter functioning at its optimum level as stated. So thank you all. I love you all. On with this review. So I have been looking forward to this for a while. This is Have, a Baby on the Wolf. This is the album, not the single. I did do a reaction to the single, and I've done several Have first reactions. I stumbled across Have by accident, and it was definitely a really, really, um, uh, I would have to say, incredible discovery, um, because it it really proved that you can make great music out there, and you can make it with passion and creativity and perseverance, and not compromise your principles or your conceptual vision of what you really want. And it really shows on this album. It's really produced well. It's really written well and performed well. Before I get to all of that, though, I'm going to go through this track by track, and I will um, give you my take on some tracks that particularly stood out for me. But I will also give you my assessment of the album as a whole, following the track listing as follows. So I do have the album playing very quietly in the background as not to get a copyright strike, and just because I want to listen to it because it is so magnificent. We started out the album with the track Ophelia, which was also a single and video, and I did do a reaction to that. You can find that on my channel. Just an incredible track and an incredible opening track for this album as well. It really draws you in to Jave's world and really sort of sets this really otherworldly yet familiar sense to the audio landscape. That is followed by track 2, which is Baby on the Wolf, the song that really had me discovering Have, and as stated several times, I have a certain affinity for wolves, and um, that's a long story in and of itself. But I always was drawn to the wolf, and that being said, this song really it caught my attention as the first one that actually I saw from Have, and from there on in, I was hooked. So that is track 2, Baby on the Wolf, and that is followed by Angel Wild Superstar. And this is just an incredible track. I love it so much. It's one of my favorite tracks on the album. And it really has this uh, subtle but I don't want to say bombastic nature. But it's a very grand sounding song, if you ask me. And I love on this album itself. I'm digressing, but I love the vocals. I love what Have did, and the backing vocals, the way they're layered, it really adds, in certain cases, a haunting feeling, and in other cases, a really warm, comforting feeling. So depending on the track, depends on what you'll receive in that regard. Moving on to track 4, Pretty Baby, another great song. This album does not have any bad songs. I want to get that out of the way. These are all great. And Pretty Baby is one of those songs that really, uh, it just, it just has that perfect song structure that I think we can all appreciate, or we should all be able to, at least, unless you don't like this type of music. Now, moving on, we have track 5, Fragile, which is amazing. And this is where I kind of get into unfamiliar territory with songs I haven't heard that were not singles. And Fragile is really a fantastic piece. Um, Track 6, Vampires, which is one of the most incredibly haunting songs I think I've ever heard. It really has this eerie quality to it, and it just it lingers in the background even when you're listening to it at full volume. It just sort of like hangs there like an apparition, and it's like an amazing track. Following that, we have track 7, The Huntress, another amazing song, and really intense performance vocally on that as well as on Vampires prior to that. And track 8, Moon Girl, which is one of my other favorite songs on this album as well. Really, just, it's so just enchanting. That's the best way I could put it. And track, let's see here, track 9 is Nature's Bride, and this is really a song that um, I wasn't sure what to expect. I saw the title and I thought, oh, this is an interesting title, and having some peculiar uh, concepts of life itself and spirituality, I immediately really liked the title and the overall feel of that. And at track 10, rounding out the album, we have um, He Wants the Rain. And this was the most recent single from the album, released 2 days ago actually, as a music video. So that it was the entire track listing on this, and I'm going to minimize this, and there we go. Basically, give you my take on the album itself, the writing, the performances, the overall production. As I started to say beforehand, it's produced magnificently. It's really, everything sounds crisp. It sounds fresh. It sounds new. Yet it sounds classic at the same time. On top of that, it has this really haunting feel to it, like I said. And I think that's partially due to Have's vocal performance on this album and her phrasing of lyrics and the backing vocals, because they really add a lot. But her intonations vocally really uh, bring a lot in terms of feel and in terms of the overall presentation, as far as I'm concerned. In addition to that, the musicianship on this album is really stellar. Um, and you have some amazing guitar work, keyboards, um, piano, bass, drums, but nothing overshadows the vocal performance. Nothing eclipses Have's vocal performance on this album. And that was something I think I always feel when it comes to solo performers, is the music at times overshadowing the actual uh, individual artist, but in this case, it does not. It complements her vocals, and it really just flows. The production is clean, but it's not clean as in sterile. Um, like last year's Metallica album, I'll use that as an example, because the sound on that just was awful in my opinion. It was too sterile and too just laboratory clean for a Metallica album, or for any album for that matter. This, yes, it's clean sounding, but it still has this sort of feel. And it's the feel and it's the gel that really binds this album together with the production, the performances, and the incredible lyrics throughout this entire album. There is not one bad song on this album. The lyrics are just really spellbinding, and I find myself really being captivated by this entirely. Um, and as I stated in my video reaction yesterday, I was not able to obtain this album in physical form. Because of my disability, I find it difficult to handle vinyl, and I was only able to find this available on vinyl or as an MP3 download, so I ended up obtaining it from the Amazon store as an MP3 album, much to my dismay. I would like to have it on CD if it ever does become available on CD, or if it is available, please someone let me know. I really want to have this on in my collection on physical form on CD, and this album is definitely a contender for my top 10 albums for 2024 thus far. There's no doubt in my mind this album is 100% spectacular, and it is independent. Um, it is indie rock, so, but it is, uh, it's not, it's not heavy, but it's not mellow. I think I could say it's not mellow because of the intensity of the vocals and the lyrics. Because there are some really powerful lyrics on this album. Something that I really haven't heard a lot of this year on a lot of albums, with the exception of maybe last year. Um, Natalie Merchant's album, Keep Your Courage, was a great album lyrically. But this album for this year really has some incredible lyrics, and just like I said, the vocals are just, at times they're warm and they're comforting, other times they're haunting and simply captivating and spellbinding. And I think that makes this album really a work of art, if I may say so. So I hope that you enjoyed this review of the Have album, Baby on the Wolf. Currently available to stream on Amazon as well as to buy on Amazon. It's also available to stream on Spotify, and you can get a limited edition vinyl, I believe. But like I said, I could not find a CD to save my life. So if anyone knows how I can get this on CD, please let me know. I would love to have this in some way, shape, or form on CD. But this was really, really a treat to be able to review this album, and I feel honored to be able to do so. It really, really touched me. It moved me in so many ways and so many different mindsets. It keeps your mind going throughout, and never settles on like one particular area. It flows effortlessly from beginning to end, and for me that's a sign of a great album. And this is a better than a great album. This is phenomenal. This is Rob with Media Awareness, and once again, a reminder the fundraiser continues. Please do what you can. Any and all help is welcome. I truly mean that. Also, please consider subscribing to my channel and becoming part of the Media Awareness YouTube family. I'd love to have you. Also, you can contact me via my Facebook link in the description, or via the email below that in the description. Either or, I would be happy to hear from you with your feedback on this album, or if anyone knows how I can obtain this on CD, please reach out. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all soon. Have a wonderful morning, noon, or night, wherever you are. Take care. Bye.